qualifying 3, because you get another set of tyres. So that's why the front runners tend to have 2 good runs on brand spanking new tyres.
So then, everybody out on the track from the top 10, apart from Daniel Ricciardo. We'll wait to see him in a few moments' time. Daniel Ricciardo, I'm sure, picked up the phone today to wish Alan Jones a very happy birthday, the Australian world champion from 1980, 73 years old today, Alan Jones. If you're watching wherever in the world you are today, Alan, very happy birthday to you. Birthday celebrations tomorrow for Mattia Binotto, who turns 50 down at Ferrari.
Does he really?
He does. I haven't got the card, have you?
I give him about 40.
That's the stress of being Ferrari team principal there.
50 years old, is he?
Exactly. 50 years old tomorrow. And how he would like to see these cars in either order, 1 and 2, by the end of tomorrow's race.
I think he's headed here. Mattia Binotto.
Can arrange that. Make a few additions, don't worry about it. Right. Backing off round the final corner, Sebastian Vettel, because up ahead the 2 Mercedes have started. This is the dash for pole. Lewis Hamilton, 3 times a pole sitter in the USA, and en route now down through the S's. Just hold your breath, as I'm sure the drivers do, through the left right combination. Superb.
We do that.
Yeah.
It's feel wonderful. Didn't quite hook it over the curve as either 1 to 2 in 8. Didn't touch wide in 9, but absolutely fine. Stay on the right-hand side, because it's a left-hander coming up. And you can see the arc there, the furrow they love to plough around there.
Down the back straights, speeds I would imagine at around about 205 miles an hour. The DRS wide open by the time he slams on the brakes and heads into turn 12. Behind him, Charles Leclerc has gone 10th fastest during the first sector. There's Hamilton with a 36.8 for the middle sector.
A little bit of oversteer turning in there, had to hesitate a bit.
A 36.7 for Valtteri Bottas through the middle sector. Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly setting the first 2 times. They're already into the 132s with Carlos Sainz. Gasly just a little bit further down, I think, on used tyres. Bottas might just have a little advantage over Hamilton as it stands through the first 2 sectors, but where do they all add up when we cross the line? And the line comes at you very fast indeed. Hamilton a 132.3. Bottas rounds the final corner. That could be beatable by Valtteri Bottas, and is a 132.0. He's nearly 3 tenths up on his teammate. Sebastian Vettel next across the line by 12 thousandths of a second, goes second. Charles Leclerc crosses the line next, 3rd fastest with a 132.2. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen on track at the moment, 10th down in the first sector, 2 tenths down in the middle sector, goes 3rd fastest with a very fine final sector.
We were on board with Hamilton, weren't we? We saw a little bit wide at turn 1, some oversteer in the middle of the corner, never quite really stuck to the road for Hamilton, and he's down in 5th at the moment.
Fully committed, Alex Albon rounds the final corner, 4th on the grid, his best in Formula 1, only 6th fastest into the 132s, but he's going to have to improve to climb up a little higher than that. It is Valtteri Bottas, the man who needs to win this race to stand any chance of keeping the championship alive this weekend, who has provisional pole at the moment. And a new track record as well.
Yeah, it's over 2 tenths faster than last year's pole position. So a new absolute record. You can only set a track record during a race, but it's an absolute record there for Valtteri Bottas. And Lewis Hamilton then with a lot of work to do.
He certainly has. Valtteri Bottas, a track where he's never ever qualified on the front row before, where he's never finished in the top 4, produced a very competitive lap time, faster even than the Ferraris, going for their 7th pole position in a row.
I think Hamilton's got the pace. We saw all those little gremlins on the way round, didn't we? He didn't quite hook it up in turn 8, a bit wide in 9.
Lock up from Max Verstappen might have cost him a bit of time at the start.
Yeah, it's still a reasonable arc around the corner, and it's not ideal. And he'll flat spot the tyres, but he won't be starting the race on these tyres anyway. Right, it's happened for Seb Vettel. Nothing there.
Well, he's just going a little wide, but that's a line that most take. In fact, that's not as wide as most would take. So Bottas, Vettel, Verstappen, Leclerc and Hamilton, the top five separated by 0.3 of a second, with Hamilton right at the rear of that. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz 7th, Lando Norris 8th, and that would probably do you very nicely if it stays like that, Zak Brown.
Yeah, I think what you see right now is probably going to be pretty close to where it'll all end up. I'd be surprised if Lewis was P5 when it's all said and done.
It's 9 apiece in the qualifying head-to-head battle between your two drivers. How seriously do they take that head-to-head, and how keenly competitive are they getting at the moment?
They're very, very competitive. Make no mistake about it. While they've got a great relationship off the track and within the team, for sure, they know it's both 9-9, and someone's going to walk out of here 10-9. So it'll be a flip of the coin to see where they end up for the end of the year.
Zach, it's a 20-turn, 92-second lap. Fast corners, long straight, slow corners. You're 0.8 off pole at the moment. It's really coming together nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, really pleased with the progress. We, still a big gap, as you know, but the gap definitely seems to be reducing here in overall qualifying pace, and then race pace is another thing. But yeah, really happy with what everyone at McLaren's doing.
Thanks ever so much, Zach. Daniel Ricciardo could have been a McLaren driver, chose to go to Renault instead. Now has the freedom of the circuit of the Americas. He's out there all by himself and just making the most of that space.
I could never imagine Daniel Ricciardo's lonely. He could amuse himself all day long over there, couldn't he? Big smile of his. And he can certainly attack the track. But he ignored the track there, but...
And dips a rear right tyre into the dirt as in the pit lane. The top three teams, they wait to come out again. Valtteri Bottas never started on the front row here in Austin. Mercedes looking for a 200th front row start in their constructor history. They'll be the fourth constructor to achieve that feat. Lewis Hamilton looking for an 88th pole, putting him 20 clear of the next man. Michael Schumacher was 68. Ferrari looking for a first pole in the United States. It's Michael Schumacher in Indianapolis. Sebastian Vettel wanting a 100th front row start of his career as well. And Ferrari looking for a 7th pole position in a row.
Verstappen out a bit earlier this week. He doesn't want to get caught up in somebody else's accident as he did in Mexico last weekend.
It's that 7th successive pole. Can Ferrari get it, equal their best run in Formula One history? They did it twice, 52 and 53, the end of the season, start of the season, as Ricciardo goes 8th fastest.
Aren't we a bit early?
You'd rather be fashionably late, maybe. And Ferrari did it again back in the 2000 season and the start of 2001. Saw Daniel Ricciardo just dip a tyre into the dirt there.
The dirt's sort of making its way onto the track eventually, isn't it? After enough of them have been through it.
Very true. So Verstappen thinks he might be just a bit early going out. 2 minutes to go.
Well, he's front of the top 6. He's front man. But as I said, last weekend it cost him pole, didn't it? Effectively.
Yeah.
By being last. He was last man out, wasn't he? Last Saturday.
The frustrating thing is he could have lifted off and he could still have got pole position.
He didn't know there at the time.
No,
did
he didn't. But it's the frustrating thing, and he'll take these last few corners very slowly indeed to back up the pack behind him and to let Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly, his former teammate Carlos Sainz, get a bit further ahead up the road before he starts his flying lap. It's tense, this.
2 great minutes coming up, Crofty.
I think so.
Great track, great challenge. And I think we're about to see some spectacular lappery.
And in the last 3 years here, Lewis Hamilton has claimed pole position every single time. But in 2019, on the verge of a 6th World Championship, he's not been on pole since Germany, which feels like a very long time ago. In the middle of the summer and the heat and eventual downpour that was Hockenheim this season. Verstappen's started on his way. Alex Albon, Sebastian Vettel started their laps too. And now Charles Leclerc crosses the start line to begin his final 3.5 miles. And look at the bumps that cause another lock-up maybe for Verstappen. And through the first sector, Martin, I wouldn't say he's blown it, but he's got a huge amount of time to make up. He really has.
Yeah, a couple of tenths. So it wasn't even a personal best for Verstappen.
However, Sebastian Vettel only goes a tenth of a second faster than Max Verstappen through that first sector with a 24.6. Next to cross that line and go into sector 2 will be Charles Leclerc, and Leclerc a 24.5, 2 tenths up on Verstappen, 1 tenth up on his teammate Bottas. Yet to go through there. Hamilton did a 24.6 as well, a tenth up on Verstappen.
The flag is flying then, the session is over. They are, of course, allowed to finish these flying laps.
And Valtteri Bottas, the provisional pole sitter, wasn't the fastest through that first sector either. I wonder if the track is getting a little bit slower in places, because none of the drivers are troubling the purple sectors, and Sebastian Vettel is a tenth out through that middle sector. Max Verstappen making his way round the final corner now. He's currently third fastest. He was 18th on the grid last year, managed to finish second. Verstappen stays third fastest. Here comes his teammate then, Alexander Albon, currently sixth fastest. Albon stays sixth fastest. Sebastian Vettel, can he put that Ferrari on pole? No, he can't. Valtteri Bottas is surviving the challenge as one by one, they all fail to match the Finn. Charles Leclerc stays in fourth as well. Alex Albon's had his lap time deleted for exceeding track limits. Lewis Hamilton aborts his lap because he can't better it. This man, Valtteri Bottas, is on pole here in Austin for the first time ever.
Look at that, 32-0 Bottas, second Vettel, 32-0, third Verstappen, 32-0-9. Very close, but Bottas had it covered on his first lap. I don't think the track was changing that much really quickly. I think probably just a little bit of overdriving. They'd hit peak at the first part of this Q3. I don't think there was anything much left for them, but we did think Hamilton had more time in there, but he had to abandon that lap, didn't he?
Yeah, he abandoned the lap, and Valtteri Bottas takes the smallest pole in the history of the Circuit of the Americas by 12 thousandths of the second in the race for the start. Well, that's the finish we all had to watch.
See what you did there. And a good effort from Valtteri Bottas. So still Hamilton doesn't score a pole position.
Guess who's on pole?
Yes! Thanks, guys.
Indeed.
Valtteri, congratulations, Mega. Thanks, that was cool.
It's the weekend where he needs to win to keep the championship alive, and where Lewis Hamilton has to finish 9th or lower. Hamilton starts 5th, Bottas on pole.
Yeah, and Lewis will know full well that third row of the grid, that's the danger zone heading up into the first corner. It's wide on the way in, but there's only really enough space for one car on the apex. Yeah. It's a very dangerous corner for the start of a Grand Prix. They need to stay out of trouble.
There is Lewis Hamilton, crash helmet on. Never really felt comfortable, I don't think, during that qualifying session. A lot of chat on the radio to Bono, his engineer, about preparing his tyres, about how to get them into the right window. Wanted more and more time on the track to practice the lines that he needed to take. That is his worst ever qualifying, equal worst ever qualifying in the United States of America. He was 5th on the grid here in 2013. Vettel starts second, Verstappen third. Don't forget, Verstappen finished on the podium from 18th last year, and from 16th on the grid, could have finished on the podium the year